Hi, welcome to Teach With Me. I am Miss Jen. Today we are going to be doing 4 projects that you can do for the 100th day of school in kindergarten. These are projects that are not hard to do. They do require some supplies, but I'll go over that. If you started in August, your 100th day is probably coming up in February, and if you started in September, your 100th day is probably coming up in March. So these are ones that you can easily prepare for without much effort. Let's get started. This first project is probably the easiest one. All you have to have ready is this sheet, and I'll show you how, and this paper plate. If you do this in small group, I would recommend having maybe 3 of these plates, and you're going to talk to the kids about not mixing colors. Oops, this has been sitting out just a little bit. Anyway, they have 10 colors, and what they're going to do is they're going to put 10 dots in each of these spaces. And by the time they're done, they will have 100 because you have 10 spaces. They'll color this middle section, and these are really cute when you put them up. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a sheet like this. And let me show you what to do. How do the kids know when they have finished? And they'll just know because they'll have completed this. So they're going to take their colors, and they're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is one of those centers you don't even need to have helpers in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, unless you're just really nervous about having kids painting alone. Anyway, so this is 10 colors. They're only going to use each color one time, and when they're finished, they will recount by tens, and they'll have 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, on to the next one. The next one is a gumball machine. I'm sure you've all seen various versions of this. This one to me is the easiest. So all you're going to need is your gumball machine, and here's how I make mine. This is simply a paper plate that is put on top of this frame. How do I get the frame the right size for the paper plate? Let me show you. All you're going to do is take a regular piece of construction paper, fold it in half, turn my light a little, we got a bit of a glare there. All you're going to do is fold that red piece of construction paper in half. You're going to have a frame already finished, and you're just going to trace it. You need to trace enough for your class. You're going to do half the number of kids you have in your class because this makes 2. So once you have this frame, you can either do it yourself or you can have the kids work in partners to cut these apart. You're just going to cut off the edges, and then they're going to open it up, cut it apart. Actually, I take that back. You're not going to have the kids do it. You actually do have to do this. I'm not thinking, because you have to put the gumball machine together ahead of time. So anyway, so you're going to cut these apart, and then you'll put your gumball machines together. And then what you're going to do, it'll be like this. Once you have your gumball machine put together, every student's going to have one of these, and they're going to glue these on their gumball machines, and then they're going to take their dot stampers. You need to have 10 of them, 10 different colors, and you need a way for the boys and girls to figure out which ones they've already done, because after a while, they're going to begin to not be able to tell which ones they've done already. So having a little chart, something like this, you will have to pre-make. You can make one and then copy it on a color copier if you have one. Otherwise, you'll have to do it yourself. But here's what I do. So let's say I'm going to do teal first. Well, then I'm going to take the teal. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to stamp the teal. And then let's say I want to do yellow next. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to stamp the yellow. When they have all of these stamped, then they know that they've done all 10 colors. So it's really important that they have a way to tell, and then they can, because they won't be able to count them when they're all mixed together. Anyway, so this is a really cute project, and that is what it looks like. The next one is the traditional Fruitloop necklace. Everyone has, I think, done this at one point or another, but I want to show you something. I don't use string when I do this. I use chenille sticks or pipe cleaners, whatever you prefer to call them. And the reason I do that is because when boys and girls are putting 100 Fruit Loops on a necklace, on a string it's really easy to let go of the side and then have all those Fruit Loops fall on the ground. When you do it with chenille sticks, that doesn't happen because they're sort of gripped on here. But there's a couple of criteria. When you are tying them together, you have to make sure you make them as thin as possible so that the Fruit Loops can fit over the edge. You'll have to do this ahead of time. It takes about 3 of these to make a necklace that holds 100 Fruit Loops. Now notice I put the Fruit Loops on a plate, but I'm also going to give them a sheet like this with 10 frames. I want them to do it by color, because if they do it by color, first of all, they're going to be able to count by tens when their necklace is done. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. They'll know they have 100 just by counting the colors they have, you know, the groups of colors. But how they can get to 100 quickly without having to spend their time counting on their necklace is they take their Fruit Loops and they do it by color in each 10 frame. So I'll give them some sort of a sorting sheet like this, and when they have filled up their sorting sheet, they know they have 100. So each one will be a different color. They don't need to have, there's not 10 colors in Fruit Loops. What I mean is I don't want 10 colors, I don't want each of the colors to touch. So they can't have, if they have green here or yellow here, this one can't also be yellow. Otherwise their colors will mix together on their necklace, and then it'll be harder for them to count them. All right, so I hope that made sense. Anyway, once they have that, they're going to take their chenille sticks, and they're just going to start sliding them on. You're not going to put a knot at the bottom on either end until you are ready to close it up, because we're going to be threading it from both sides, because sometimes that knot in the middle makes it a little difficult. So if it does, then we'll thread it from both sides. Oops, well, I didn't do that by color like I told you I was going to. Anyway, so you get the idea, I think. And that is it. And once you're done, you just twist the ends together. Now the last one is we would have a center where the boys and girls had to do 100 exercises, and it could be something like this. It could be, mine was on a big chart, and we would have done that chart that whole week leading up to the 100th day as our PE, so they would have already known. And then you want to have something for them to do once they're done with this, because this won't take them very long. And I usually have something on their seat like this where they have to fill in numbers, and they would use the chart you have on the wall or what's on their nameplate. Usually those have 1 to 100 counting things on there for them. All right, so those are the ideas for the centers. All right, so leading up to the 100th day of school, we have a week long of activities that we do. We'll have writing in the writing center where we say things like, if I had $100, I would, and that's their frame for them to write for that day. Or if I was 100 years old, I would. Those answers are usually pretty funny. We are also going to have a weekly share. In kindergarten, we always have a weekly share. Well, for the 100th day of school week, we have projects that they have made. They will have like a good lead up to that, 3 weeks to a month. The projects are easy. They can be easy or complicated. Some people really spend a ton of time on these. Some people do really simple ones. It could be anything. It could be 100 clothespins attached to a clothesline. It could be 100 goldfish in a drawn fish bowl. It could be 100 pennies glued into a piggy bank, a drawn-on piggy bank. It could be 100 words written in a book, 100 leaves that they collected and glued onto a tree. Whatever it is, that's their project for the week. And I always took pictures of it because my gift for the parents at the end of the year was a photograph book, a memory book for each of the students. And so this is definitely one of the things I took a picture of for them to remember their students in kindergarten. All right, well, I hope you found this helpful. Oh, let me show you my shirt. Today it just simply says kindergarten, and that is it. Anyway, like, subscribe, and share if you found this content helpful. See you next time.